church women to stick their heads in here. I forgot to give thanks when we were out there, but they that by far was Pastor, check out my hand here. I hope my wife doesn't hear that. Here you come.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Very good.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll clean up.
There'll be lots of coffee left. There's some buns too. You want to keep the buns too? No?
You know, we have a little cleaning up to do around our table, I know. Actually, no, it'd be difficult. Louder. You have never been bashful, have you? I want to thank Helen and Jim and Lila and Mary and Tom last night for letting us all invade their campground. It was a wonderful time together.
It's all right. You'll get the bill.
I didn't account for that. Thanks. The Jackson family has enjoyed a long and rich tradition of music, laughter, and sharing, particularly at these family get-togethers. The current format that we are having now is somewhat new, but these get-togethers go back, to my early childhood. Some of my earliest memories are of everyone going to Grandma and Grandpa Jackson's little farmhouse on the edge of town, near the railroad tracks. It was a small house, but everybody came. Uncles and aunts and cousins, and sometimes even pets. So it was a crowded time, but I think Earl said it was 1947 when they moved over to your place, and from that time on, the reunions took place there, but they continue very often. Now, of course, as the family has grown by several generations, this becomes kind of tough to get together that frequent, and we are all concentrating on our own individual families and setting our own new traditions, which is, I guess, the thing we're supposed to do, which is understandable. But I think I speak for all of the original cousins when I say it's important and certainly enjoyable that we still try to get together with a larger, expanded family like this, and back to the place where this all started some 100 years ago. 100 years ago last year. And it's certainly a great time to share and to exchange what's going on in our lives. And 2 years ago when we had this get-together, we did ask that every family that was here to stand up and introduce themselves. We're going to ask you to do the same thing here. In fact, we're going to ask most of you to come up here. We'd like to get some pictures. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the family. If there's something you'd like to share, don't want to put anybody in the spot, but if there's anything that you'd like to update your group on, please do so. And also, if there's any special memories that you have of past get-togethers or just things that have happened throughout the years in the Jackson family, we'd certainly like to hear about those too. It's a time of sharing. So we'll do this, I guess, by the original 12 children again. Let's probably start off with the oldest, as we have done in the past. That's Dave's family. I know we have 4 groups here. Somebody want to start off?
Well, I'd make her walk home
You're gonna get it!
You have no place to stand the stage.
Wide angle
Oh, Dick. Well, Mabel is my mom, or was my mom. This is my husband, Doug. I have a brother, Eugene, and his family, but Gene couldn't be here, and he wanted me to tell everybody hello, and he's sorry he couldn't make it.
He's in Branson?
He's in Branson, Missouri. What else do you want to know?
Where are you going to make Lucy sleep tonight?
I haven't decided yet, but I'll think of something.
Down by the lake.
We have picnic tables down there.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's
Well,
it.
I'd like to say something that
Oh,
before I got, I've known Nellie since we were running around in the restaurant together, probably 4 or 5 years old. Went through high school, grade school, 13-year classmates. But before I got to know any of the Jacksons, I remember Elsie. Of course, she wasn't a Jackson then. She was a Haima. But she was my first Sunday school teacher. I was about 5 years old. And I remember one time we had Christmas doings, and I was dressed up in a red underwear, the old ones with the flaps on the back. And she always reminds me of this because when I headed up to the front, all the flaps were open and was dropped all over. She always reminds me of that.
When you were a Sunday school teacher, and he'd come out in that underwear and the flap was hanging down in the back?
Of course, I had something underneath it, so.
Anyhow, that's us.
Remember to not be
Well, even with my panoramic, I can't get this family on.
Squish together, guys, and they all.
I don't know, Becky, I didn't find her out there. She must be out with Andy. Oh, she's not a part of this family. I don't want anybody to think I am.
I don't Come on, Brian. Smile.
You do it chronologically now?
Somebody up there say something.
Earl's the oldest.
Earl's the oldest.
No, he's not.
I pretended. I know better.
I don't know nothing.
Not tonight.
We start with the young.
You said it.
Start with the young.
Introduce your family.
Huh?
Marianne, introduce
Oh, Marianne.
Well, I tried to round up Becky and Andy, but they're out chasing butterflies. Anyway, she's my oldest. She's here with Andy's son, Mark, and Minnie just got married.
Louder, Marianne.
I can't, I'll cough. Mark and Wendy got married about a month ago, so they're newlyweds. And this is Bonnie, my second to the youngest daughter, and her husband Jeff.
He's got 4 more.
There are 4 more, they're just not here.
This is my wife Carol. I'm Dale. I have Dan and Cindy. Who quit it? Dan just left, so I guess that's about it.
Girl.
So, I'm the oldest, Dale. I'm Earl, and I'm the middle child, and you know what middle children are.
They're naughty.
Beans.
And we have 2 of our 4 children here. Lynette with her husband John, this guy right here, and their 2 daughters, Mallory and Lynch. And then we have Scott with us, with his 4 children and one of our adopted children for the week, with Scott, and then way behind is Britton, and our adopted son Brian. He's traveling with them. They asked him to travel on. They're going out to Mount Rushmore from here. And then Brandon, and where's Christine and Garrett? And Christine and Garrett, the little redhead there. And best of all, my wife Marge.
Good recovery.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good.
All right, Esther?
Your turn, Esther. There they go.
Sharon went to the hotel, so I don't know until we,
Oh. Well, Lucy, why don't you say something about the wide angle lens?
for you, and the little one's left too, so.
Where's Sharon?
She went back to the hotel. She went back to the hotel with the kids.
Is she coming back, or?
Yeah, but then, I don't know. Well, we can do a picture.
What's this? She comes back, we'll get a picture then, but just, what's your fellas in, what's happening?
Well, in spite of appearances to the contrary, we are continuing to multiply. It's just that many of us aren't here. My brother, well, of course, my mother Esther, you all know, and there's my older brother Dwayne, his wife lives in California. And unfortunately, we're not able to make it. Gene and I are here. By the way, Dwayne has 2 kids and 3 grandkids. And Gene and I have 2 kids and 4 grandkids, so finally I've got one up with my brother. Matter of fact, we have twin grandsons. And we're hoping that they look just like Bruce and Bernie. In 50 years. We don't handle all mustache.
I'm Laurel. I have 5 girls and 3 of them are here today. And I have 1 grandchild. And I've been married for 1 year.
Where's your husband?
He's not here.
Oh, he's okay. Off too, huh?
And Sharon took off, and so did her husband. I hope together. All of their children are here. But not here. But here.
They're in the hotel.
Okay. Anyway, we've run out of steam.
Had one sister, Eddie, who was able to make it today, unfortunately, but she was there last night with her husband Grant at the picnic, so some of you got to see her there. Eddie lives in the Twin Cities as well as we do. She also has 4 kids like us, and like us, it's 1 boy and 3 daughters. So, they're doing fine, staying busy, and Eddie's still Eddie. For those of you who don't know.
Until you said that. We have an update.
Karen, my bride of 40 years this year. Well, not that long, so, our 4 children, the oldest, Gary Jr., down at the end there. Gary's in the Twin Cities by us. Gary's the only one of the crew that's not married yet. Brother keeps teasing him a little bit. My oldest daughter, Kim, where are you? And we were fortunate, we just got Kim and her family back in the Twin Cities. They were spent 8 years out of state, 9 years, sorry. Part of that time in Bismarck, North Dakota, and the balance down in Danforth, Iowa. They're wanted to be back, and we wanted to have them. They have 4 children. Brittany, their oldest, Blake, where's Pete? And Kitra. We call her Kitty. Those are, what's his name?
Always forget, son-in-law. He's trying to get rid of me.
Susan and where's Steve?
He's filming.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, and they have 3 daughters, Lindsay, Ashley, and where's Betty? And our youngest daughter, Amy, and her 2 guys. 3 guys. 2 have 9. Jack here was born on my dad's birthday, so they named him Jackson. We call him Jack. You say Jackson around our house, he doesn't look confusing. Jack and Scotty. All 3 of our daughters were pregnant last year and due within 2.5 weeks of each other. Little Scotty decided he wasn't going to wait until the due date, so he came 3.5 months early, slightly over a pound. 2 months early, excuse me. And through a lot of prayers and tender nursing care, he's doing fine. And so we. I'm sorry, Eric.
You can tell we don't get much recognition.
I'm just kidding.
I would have paid for that one.
All right, thanks.
My dad was Herb, and we're glad that some of our family could be with us today. Linda and her husband Craig.
Well, we gotta organize this by family.
Everybody else was organized.
Linda and Craig, and their sons Bruce and Glenn, and their daughter Jennifer, and her husband Terry, and their little granddaughter Emily. They live in Detroit, and Terry's in medical school, and they weren't able to make it today. But, so we missed them. My wife Bobby, and myself, and our daughter Kirsten, and our son Peter, and our two sons Eric and Carl, and their wives Karen and Martha, and our granddaughters Tristan and Brittany. They were here the last time, but they weren't able to make it. They live in Colorado, and the kids are in school already. And our daughter-in-law is in her last year of college, so they all were pretty busy already. They, I know, would have liked to have been here. I was thinking about, this is Stoney, Kirsten's boyfriend, and sorry, I have trouble remembering. I was thinking about memories of our reunions, and I was thinking about Uncle Dave, and I remember the movies that he used to show. I can remember many times sitting in that East Room at Bill and Elsie's after dinner, and he would show the movies. And one thing I remember particularly was when he would run them backwards. I remember many a time, I remember Grandpa, I remember other people going into the outhouse and then back and forth. And back and we used to get quite a bang out of that.
Grandpa was laughing until silly over that one.
That's one memory I have.
I remember Bill and Elsie had goats for a while.
Oh,
And there was, one time I remember the goat wasn't very nice. And Bill would tease it quite a bit just to get it mad. And I wouldn't go near it, I know that, but I think someone actually got it.
You remember, didn't Ronnie get
Ronnie
got his pants torn one time by that?
Priscilla wasn't too happy.
Priscilla wasn't very happy about it, as I recall.
Priscilla was a little unhappy.
And they used to have a lot of cats, and that was fun to play with the cats and the dog. I think I remember Rocky used to chase the thunder.
Yeah.
Like, he would start to thunder, and he'd start running after it, trying to. And then, of course, the singing was always a part of it. Guys standing up. And I remember Walter always used to stand up.
The higher the notes were, the
Yeah.
Yeah, there were many, many, many good memories. I don't remember being at Grandpa and Grandma's, but Elsie's house was a really familiar place. And as you know, we're staying there this weekend. Our family is so. It's fun to see how Cindy Paulson has changed it, but you can still tell it's Elsie's house.
Cindy, a relative?
Yeah, Cindy Paulson. She's Elvin Paulson's daughter. You're welcome to look at it. Come and look if you'd like.
We charge admission.
Yeah.
Can we come and see it?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Anything else?
We're done.
Apparently, Herb put his underwear on back. And of course, the more nervous you get, the more you have to go to the bathroom. Never did tell me about that. And Rita's next, and unfortunately, she's not here, but I did receive a letter from her. Dear Gary and Karen, I am sorry I am so late to let you know about the reunion. I was waiting to hear if some of the time were able to go. I am sorry that no one of my family are able to come down to the reunion. My family are all so busy, and some will be on vacation, so it just doesn't work out. I have so many problems with my health, especially my back, that I'm not able to walk very far. I haven't been to Clear Lake for so many years, I would just love to see the place where I was born again. I haven't seen anyone from the Jackson family for many years, and I sure do miss them. I pray for you who can attend, that you'll have a wonderful time. I will be with you in my thoughts and prayers. God bless each one of you. Love, Irene, your family. Next, I think is Fred, and no one here from Fred's family. Does anybody know what's happening out there? Talking to Lucille, or you ever talk to Fred's family at all?
I did, I talked to them.
Well, you and Cliff are next.
Yay! The baby.
Lucille?
Now you really need a wide angle lens. Aren't we a handsome couple?
You're supposed to say something. Speak.
Me, I never have anything to say.
Is that right, Cliff?
Fred does, or Cliff does all the talking, huh?
Remember one time at Grandma's, we were on the second floor. Loud enough? No, she always tells me I'm not. So if you don't hear me, raise your hand. Not all at once.
Well, we're a little closer.
But we were in the bedroom on the bed, and about that time, she thought it was going to rain. Lucy gets up and goes to the window, just as she shut it. Crash. Right. She was back in bed one morning.
I can think of lots of happy memories when we were growing up. We had a path formed around our house from all those kids running around there, you know. And we didn't have to have a bunch of neighbor kids to come in and play. We were so many, and we just had so much fun. And at one end of the lawn was lilac trees, and at the other end was a great big patch of rhubarb. And so we'd have a race from the lilac to the rhubarb, see who win. Then when spring would come, we'd go out to that rhubarb patch, and we'd pull it and see who could eat it without making a face. That's pretty easy. Not very so easy with sour rhubarb, but oh, I can just think of a lot of funny things that are funny to me, probably wouldn't be funny to you. But anyway, we did have a lot of fun. We were a happy, happy family.
I could tell you a few of them, but I won't. We had a very good time.
Flat roof, and we were pouring tar up there, and we were working pretty hard. It was summertime, it was hot, and all of a sudden Daddy looks down and he sees Edwin walking across the street. And first I better background was the fact that they always used to play chicken when they were kids, and they'd go geep, geep at each other. And especially my dad and Carl and all, and well, your dad too, they geeked at each other. But anyway, we were up on the roof, and all of a sudden my dad sees Edwin walking across the street. Of course, Edwin didn't see us. Edwin gets just so close, right down by the curb. Daddy goes, geep! Like that. And Edwin just... couldn't figure out what we were saying.
It was a family thing, and so
It was,
he didn't know who
He
else
was
would know.
a family.
Oh, that's right, it was a family thing. They all played that when they were kids.
Well, Helen and Dorothy, you told a story last time that I had never heard before, but when you were staying out at Grandma and Grandpa's, and you were sleeping upstairs and Grandma wanted to turn the light off.
The toilet?
Can you tell that story again?
With the toilet, with a little white pot.
Go ahead,
We used to always have to sleep upstairs, of course. And like I say, I thought that house was a big house, but it wasn't. It was a very little house. And so our folks put us to bed, and was Harvey still? Yeah, Harvey must have still been there. And we were supposed to go to bed, and we didn't want the light out because we were scared of the dark. So we couldn't reach the light switch. So they had these little white toilets, little white pots that they used up there because there were no conveniences then. And so we thought, well, we can step on that and reach the light. So I don't know which one of us stood on.
We heard it was you.
I think it was Helen. Well, let's blame it on the Harvey.
Anyway, one of us stood on the top for each light, and it was full. And
And remember the picture in the ceiling? It came down.
They weren't very happy with us, let me tell you.
Should have told that before lunch.
Bobby, I asked you before if you had an idea of how many, everybody showed up, how many we had here?
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago, it was 340. But there have been a few babies who've been born since, and I don't have all of them. So I would say, we're close to 350. And that's living. That's how many are living. I have like 362.
Wow. Big group. Kelly?
Lucy at one time had a real long fingernail.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
quarter of an inch, half an inch, I mean.
And one night it disappeared. And nobody would ever own up to cutting that nail, except after not too long before we lost Herb, he confessed to me that he had cut her nail. But he never told her.
He would never own up to me. I said, well, Herb, it's pretty obvious. Just you and I at home. I was in one bedroom and he was in the other. We were the only kids at home. I said, it's pretty obvious. There lays the scissor. There lays my nail. But he would never own up to I remember your dad, when he was going to go out on a date, boy, he stood in front of the mirror worse than any woman ever did. Just so. Then when you get ready to go, I try and crawl in the back seat and go with him. He wouldn't let me.
Why not?
Gary? Yes. My dad, who got time, I don't know if I told this story or not, but my dad always told a story about when he was a young man, he was still at home, and there was an old horse out in one of the pastures there. And it was cold, it was wintertime, and the horse got pretty frisky one day and it fell down and couldn't get up. And so Dad had to shoot it. And he shot it and he was going to dig a hole for it, and he dug and took a pickaxe and there was frost in the ground. He had an awful time getting through down to where he could bury the horse. He finally got the hole dug, and don't you suppose somebody came along and wanted to buy it? By the horse, and my dad said after all that work and digging that hole, he said, no way you're going to buy it, so he dumped it in the
He was having a cow in Minneapolis. And it was winter now. And his friend helped him. And they pushed it up into the fire. In the meantime, the cow let it rip. And went down his horrible.
I remember hearing this story about at Christmas time. My dad told me when they were young and they played a trick on Fred. Fred was very little at the time, and the bigger the present, the more wonderful it was. But I think with my dad was involved in this. He went and got a huge box.
Your dad.
And then he, speaking of horses, he put some horse manure in the box and then wrapped it up with a big ball and put it under the tree. And of course Fred was just, you know, he put his eyes just bugged out, you know, and then they sat and watched him open it up. Oh, man.
Covenant Church. It isn't anymore, but it used to be. So we were up there one time, and with my mother and Mabel and Cliff and I sitting on one pew. I think that's all. I think it was one other person, but I don't remember who it was. Anyway, me. Huh? Me. Were you there? No. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there was a group from Minneapolis that was putting on some music. The music director up there reading the music. Well, anyway, they had us all stand up to sing. So we stood up, and I heard this big noise. I thought it was something outside, but all of a sudden, the corner and I looked at the fuse going over. And it was quiet as mouse. I said, "Goodness sake, look what happened!" Needless to say, it broke everyone up. Even the sound director couldn't sing. He was laughing. Of course, I had to be sitting next to Mabel. Big old puss Mabel. And we just laughed. I couldn't stop laughing.
Drifting and dreaming, sway them, dive, another perfect day had passed away. Some words have gone to rest, while you another perfect day has passed away. I'll take my love and love, while the day is known. We live all through the years of grace, in time of faith. Another perfect day,
I think they need a cue card, Mary. Who's trying to sing bass is what I want to know.
I'll do it. Let's start with the host first.
And Steve's carrying the lead.
Well, I don't want the reception's at 5. Probably, I'm going to say till 7. Then I'll come back. So I'll be here until 7. so I just don't get a chance to.
Someday, I've been working on the railroad, just to pass the time away. And you hear the whistle blow, rise up so early in the morning. And you hear the whistle calling, Dinah, blow your horn. Dinah, won't you blow, Dinah, won't you